Hey guys, it's Brendan the Paleo Dude, and welcome back to another Jurassic World unboxing and review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Jurassic World Epic Evolution Danger Pack figures. And this is, I think, wave 3, and it consists of 3 figures, one of which is a package. These guys have pretty unique names, so I hope I'm not butchering them. This is Kileskus and Craterosaurus. Very interesting choices from Mattel. So one is a savanna dinosaur and one is an ice and snow. This one's got a very unique design, which I am excited to go over. I'll start with Crater here. So it's very basic in terms of like a Stegosaurus design. I love the colors. It's pretty unique. They decided to do some sort of contrast between this dark splotch that's randomly on the shoulder blade or above the shoulder blade, and then this like lighter color which kind of like fragments up here, and it has a continuation after the break on the neck, under the chin and the bottom jaw. And crazy enough, they actually painted the beak on this one, which is pretty interesting. It's so small, it's something they could have easily not painted, but I'm glad they did because it looks really nice and it ties the figure together. The head has some neat articulation, so you can make it drink or look up at a larger dinosaur, which is like phenomenal. This looks super fluid. I love that they added that feature. The tail is just static. You can, I don't know, rotate it. But it's more of a rubbery plastic. They did not paint the spikes on the tail for obvious reasons. If they had paint on them, the paint would get worn and chipped pretty quickly. But this guy reminds me basically of the Miragaia in terms of like the plates turning into spikes right at the tail there. But this one has way nicer proportions. It is very natural looking. It looks like a Stegosaur in terms of like just the body plan. Like, I don't want to say Stegosaurus itself, but it's really nice. Something about this figure proportionally is pleasing to the eyes. But in terms of that, yeah, the paint job's nothing too special, but I do enjoy it. It does look nice. The different colors complement each other well. Now, time for Kileskus, or Kileskus. So Kyle here has a very interesting paint job, especially on the nose there. That is super cool. So it has a kind of like dark brown coloration on the head, and then these like white stripes on this nasal crest. Now, the interesting thing about this figure is it has 3 different body stylizations, I guess I could say. So the neck starts off with this overlapping, almost like wrinkled armor, some sort of like hardened keratin or something on the neck, and then immediately transitions into fur, which continues down to the tail actually, and in between the fur there you get spikes. So it has weird armor plating, spikes, and fur. Instead of just having one of the different types of body coverings, it has 3 separate ones combined, which is pretty unique, pretty interesting. I think for the smaller theropods, they're running out of designs for them, because we already have a small theropod with feather or fur covering basically identical to this. These guys actually have similar color palettes, the whites, the browns, the blacks. But this one looks really nice because it actually has paint on the tail. This is something that's rare for the smaller assortment of dinosaurs. They usually cheap out, don't have any paint on the tail, just focus on the front of the body. But this one has paint, not just on the tail, but on the back of the body here. So they got it on both parts of the mold, which is super nice. It makes that feather covering stand out more. And that design choice is just perfect because it's very linear, and that continues on the head, so it makes it feel balanced. And they did not need to paint the limbs at all for this one. I think it looks really great without paint on the limbs. They went all out on the head too. The design's really nice. I love that kind of overlapping plates on the neck, and how this crest is kind of pointed back. It looks very menacing. I would not want to run into this guy on a mountain skiing or snowboarding. That would suck. The neck articulation is pretty decent. It can kind of look down if it's attacking something on the ground, and it can look up at larger dinosaurs. Mouth articulation is simple. They painted the tongue, thank goodness. Top of the jaw has no paint, like usual, and teeth overhang to make it look more menacing. And it's got a very neat head sculpt, kind of typical theropod. And it's got some little armor plating as well that kind of matches with the neck plating on its legs. So this isn't like a one-off thing. It, again, more balance, like having the design in different places on the body to make it feel more realistic. And then some bumps, larger scales on the legs. So yeah, this figure is actually like very nice, and proportionally, like the tail's super long, the legs and the arms are very proportionate, the neck's a good length, the head is quite small, which is good. We don't like oversized heads. That is normal and accurate. These two guys, they look proportionally pleasing as dinosaurs. So Mattel is definitely upping their game on their dinosaur quality in terms of sculpts, and these are unique species. So it's awesome they're branching out and finding these species to make. So, and in terms of appearance, I'll do a quick comparison. So I can't remember this guy's name, but they're very similar. This guy's actually way smaller. They're both in the same price range, but the stance on this guy, he's super short in comparison, which is neat that they're varying the size too. They're not all just the same size in the price range. But in terms of posability, this guy has more posability. You can rotate his neck. This one just goes up and down, but I think it suits it because I think the rotating joint would take away from the proportions that they have. It also kind of reminds me of Alioramus in terms of like the design with the crest and the proportions. And the coloration too is kind of similar. And then obviously Proceratosaurus has a little crest and also similar colors, small theropod, but the tail is super short on this guy. And then lastly, the newer sculpt of the Monolophosaurus has a similar crest where it points back towards the neck. Yeah, it's kind of boxy. And then for the crater dude, he kind of looks way better than the rest of the small stegos. I mean, Marigaya already has screwed up proportions in real life. It's got a super long neck and long legs, but it just looks kind of funky next to him, especially with that jaw that opens. Ugh. And then the rest of the stegosaurs have like, I don't know, chunkier legs, I guess. Yeah, they've got chunkier legs. The back legs are very strong and thin on this guy. These guys are like fat. This one's super fat in comparison. Look at that. Huge. So this guy's more leaner built stegosaur, not as chunky. But yeah, so there's a little comparison for you guys. These are quality figures if you're like, I don't know, a model collector, or you just collect good dinosaurs from Mattel. These two, I'd recommend getting them. They're very, very nice to look at. Very pleasing proportionally. I can't stress it enough. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out my other content. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.